So my presentation will mainly focus on production side. But I know we have a number of presentations from China on demand and the market transformation. Let me give you a couple facts in China. China, of course, is the biggest country in terms of population. I think India is catching up now. And on the other hand, we have 20% of our population. On the other hand, we only have 5% of water availability, and 8% of our total land area. But on the other hand, but China was able to achieve nearly 96% of food sufficiency. I think if you're looking for answer why, in China, agriculture has been growing about 4.6% annually, not for 1 year, for 35 years. Yeah. Because this growth, despite increasing demand from growing population and increasing income, China was able to achieve nearly self-sufficiency. But this is not, it's perfect, but China also facing great in sustainable agricultural development. I will come back later. Not only growth has been very fast, but indeed growth has been achieved with significant change in agricultural structure, or due to demand change as income increase. And that, for here show you how China agriculture moving out of crop sector to livestock and fishery in other sectors. I believe after 20 years, crop sector may be only 1/3 of China agriculture. China agriculture going to be dominated by livestock fishery in other crop. Within crop, China also have been experiencing rapid transformation from grain-based economy to cash crop, mainly horticulture, vegetable, fruit. And transformation not only occurring within agricultural sector. Indeed, there's a significant transformation of people moving out of agriculture. In the early 1980s, roughly about 10 to 15% people had off-farm job. But now, by 2015, the data I haven't put here, but conclusion from here is, in China, it's more than 80% household, in rural household, had at least one person working off-farm activities. And the other 20%, most are at household people. So with this significant growth of agricultural transformation within agricultural sector and the transformation of off-farm moving to off-farm employment using rural income, rural have been growing very fast because off-farming income increase more faster than within agricultural sector. So now farmers earn much more income from off-farm activities. It's about 60% income from off-farm activities, and 40% from agricultural sector. With this significant growth of agricultural and off-farm employment, you see the rural poverty in China have been declining very rapidly. The left side is the total amount of rural poverty. Right side, side is percentage of rural people under poverty. And the three line, one is three poverty line used by government in different periods. But I don't want to go to each of these figures. The main message is poverty in rural area has been declining very fast, and government try to end all rural poverty by 2020. So, which knows background of agricultural and rural transformation, typology China agricultural or rural transformation into 4 stages. And this 4th stage, I think, also quite similar to experience in other countries, which I presented a few days ago in Asian Agricultural Economic Association. So before China, before 1980, and China primary agricultural production is stable food production. We call it Yi Liang Wei Gang. The only grain is a key product for production. But China, after start reform started 78, 79, And within 10 years, China were able to shifting from grain economy to more diversified agricultural economy. And this is very important because it creates huge employment for farmers. When you working in grain economy, you working 10 days or 20 days per year. But when you working in horticulture or livestock, you're working more than 300 days because they need care every day. And this increase intensity of people working in agriculture. And during second stage, which continue increasing productivities, and you have more time can get out of agriculture, working off farming activities. So moving first stage to second stage, then to third stage, that's rising off farm employment, agricultural productivity growth was key driving force on this moving from one state to the other state. Now China most provinces are in third stage, that take about 20 years. And recently, particularly since early in the century, China moving to last stage to integrate rural or urban development. And because in the past, agricultural growth has been in the expensive of sustainable development, and China also moved to more sustainable agricultural development now. The question I said today I want to discuss with you two major questions. One is what has been the driving force of this agricultural transformation? What are the consequences of this transformation? I have to present this figure in a couple of conferences, but point here is my early studies to show how TOP growth, total fat product growth for rice, wheat, for maize in early uniform period. We are now. You see in the first few years from 79 to 84, TLP grows about 50% within 4 or 5 years. And that mainly comes from one policy, institution change, and it's allocated village owned land to all household, equity to each household. And this have created big incentive to farmer to produce more. But that, if you see after the middle 1980s to middle 1990s, TLP growth continued to keep about 3% growth. In our study, we saw the major source of growth, more than 2/3 of growth came from technological change. So institution is very important in first stage. The second stage, technological change have been shifting China agriculture rapidly in productivity growth. This is so until middle 1990s. In the other paper, so after the middle 1990s, TLP growth still kept about 2 to 4% growth rates. And in this growth rate, many major source of this total fat productivity growth again came from technological change. The other source come from marketing reform, but many it come from technological change. One of the other message I want to mention to you is the most right one is cotton. Next commodity is rice, wheat, maize, soybean. Cotton TLP growth is much higher than other commodity, and because China, the only one major commodity used GMO crop is BT cotton, and that started commercialization in 1997. Okay. We have also, so this roughly show you TLP growth. GMO technology can contribute about 1 to 1.5% of TLP growth in agricultural sector. But to show this, we have a number of studies, including our work with carbon here, and this is a table just summarizes several of our studies. See what the benefit of BT cotton to farmers, but roughly it's not only reduce the pesticide use, increasing yield, but more important also is reduce the labor input. With wage increasing, this is very important. Farmer, of course, see the price increasing, but on the average farmer, they gain more than $200 per hectare. That's very significant increase cotton productivity. And third major driving force is marketing reform. And in China, you see in the first column is before, in early 1990s, in China, only half our market was integrated. But which market reform since the early 1990s, after 10 years, by early this century, nearly 100% of our market is corn for soybean integrated, fully integrated. And we also have similar result for rice, wheat, and commodity. And we have also a number of people to show what the impact on this market reform on farm level. And there are two major conclusions from this study. Is this market reform facilitated a cultural structure change significantly, moving from grain economy to more diversified agricultural economy. Second, it helped farmers to get a much cheaper input price. 20 years ago, farm get fertilizer price at farm gate compared to the factory price, that's about 50% difference, and now only 5% difference because marketing reform, infrastructure improve. Meantime, also get higher output price because producer and consumer become much more closer. Last but not least is about agricultural investment in agricultural sector of driving force. And here show you how significant China is expanding irrigation area in China. And by this now, roughly about 50% of area in China is irrigated. It's one of the highest irrigated agriculture in the world. And in the meantime, not government investment, not only in irrigation, but indeed investment in every agricultural rural sector have been declining rapidly. In past 10 years, every 3 to 4 years, double investment in agricultural sector. Because this, all these four driving force, as I mentioned, start from institutional reform in this column in 1980s, and then which development irrigation infrastructure technology available to farmers. As I mentioned earlier, China was able to increase productivity, move to second stage in middle after late 1980s. But with more diversification of agriculture, you need to selling your product. So that's why China started marketing reform in early 1990s and help the farmer make a more faster transformation. And which needs continue increasing productivities. As I mentioned earlier, you have more people can work in all farm activities. So China developed in late 1980s to 1990s a small enterprise we call township and village enterprise in rural area to help farmers to get part-time in farming, part-time in all farm activities. But which continue increasing wage recently, and China then started labor rental, non-rental market, so that help the farmer can get more employment in all farm activities. In the meantime, recently, more recently, China have focused on non-consolidation, mechanization, and urbanization, so can help a farmer move to more advanced in agricultural rural transformation. And I don't have time to go to each of these, but I want to mention a couple of points. First, non-consolidation. I will focus on this one tomorrow presentation, but I give you a few figures. This shows how significant a rising wage in China, a much faster rising in China than many other Asian countries. Because this wage increasing, indeed, if you look at Japan, Korea data 40, 50 years ago, similar trend. But in that time, Japan, Korea, farmers started increasing. But in China case, which needs increasing of wage, and fascinated China non-consolidation. This is every farm side in China in bottom one in past 10 years increased by nearly 40%. And then the red one, the top one, is East China and North China, where green economy, many are green economy, have more bigger farm side, including nearly double. And I just finished, this is under 2013, I just finished survey 1 month ago. By this year, farmer size is even within 3 years, increasing the other 30%. So this is a very significant increasing. There are a number of major innovations occurring in China, but not much in other Asian countries. Here I mentioned two things here. Tomorrow I will going to talk more about this. One is non-transfer service center. Now in China, it's about I think it's more than 1/3 Indians have this kind of non-transfer center. And this study 2013, that time in our study, and 20% of township have this center. This is kind of transfer center similar as your housing, renting housing center. You go to internet, you find who can rent out housing. You go to internet, you can find who people want to rent out. Who want to rent, you can rent it in. And I said I will talk more tomorrow. Sorry, what happened? And then the other important is about mechanization service. This number of years in the village you can access to the mechanization service. So you don't need to do your mechanization. You just make a phone call. People will come to your farm to help you doing activities. So during this time, we have a number of innovation in non-consolidation and mechanization. But meantime, because farmers need to increase all-farm activities, government also accelerating urbanization. And I will show you also important on this urbanization. I think in our agricultural economic community, in past, we always trying to show how successful rural transformation can stimulate economic growth and development. But we have, I think there are few, only very few studies have tried to understand how urbanization and industrialization can facilitate rural transformation. And this is important because urbanization, industrialization, if they create labor-intensive industrialization, they create job for farmers and facilitate inclusive rural transformation. I show you some evidence that we just found recently. And here, I use city 99 from early 1990 to recent years. And the top one is in 1992, the bottom one is in 2013. You see the bubble is pointing, which shows how city urbanization is pointing. And I merged with this data with my own household survey in 2008, 2013. This is the location of village. And linking this data with urban expansion data, and then can find out how what the impact of urbanization on land use, off-farm employment, farmer income, rural poverty reduction, rural education. But here I show you just one example. The people I just finished. Try to see how urban expansion. I use urban gravity, but I forget it. But it's kind of urban expansion. Within the urban expansion, very significant impact on rural off-farm or employment. And we also saw in 1980s, most of nearby urban have impact on rural transformation. And now recently, it's more remote area urbanization have more significant impact on local village transformation because the labor market have been developed rapidly in past 20 years. I just show you one figure. As I mentioned, indeed, we saw urbanization have very significant impact on rural transformation in several aspects. And last stage, China moving to now, without moving to more rural urban integrated development and sustainable agricultural development. But I don't want to go to, I don't have time to go to each of these. But next question, I try to see when China moving from first stage of transformation to last stage now, transformation, what have been the consequences of this? I believe the number of consequences have consequence to food security, farmer income, rural poverty, environment, sustainable development issues. And today, I only focus on aspect of rural poverty, because we do have some quantitative evidence on this, and some other of presentation from China may focus on some part of other 3 areas. And this is figure showed roughly what to show the agricultural transformation difference among the Asian countries, from left to right, from China to and the Philippines, Cambodia. And I used to share our rural value, our non-senior product, as a kind of level of agricultural transformation. So what it means here is need to share of cash crop, livestock, fishery, high value commodity. Yeah. So which higher of this share that means the higher of rural agricultural transformation. And they compare 1980, 1990, early century, the 3 line. So it's increasing faster. That means speed on this transformation was faster. So I group this country into 3 groups: rapid transformation, China, in relative high, also in Indonesia, Laos, Vietnam, and then also moderate. If in some countries, the few exceptions is Cambodia, Philippines, they are moving to more green economy instead of more diversified agricultural economy. And based on this figure, I estimate per year how much percentage change, and that is speed of transformation. And then compare the other figure, it shows our rural people under poverty in China and other countries, and here. Red one is China, and this left side is poverty using $1.25 per day. Right side is $2 per day. But in general, you see the rural poverty in nearly all Asian countries have been declining significantly. But rate of declining also differ very largely among the countries. So I also, based on this figure, I also calculate how much each year declining in poverty rate, and then we putting these 2 together. Horizon one, how much each year increasing in the agricultural diversification. In the vertical line, so how much each year decline in poverty reduction. You see a kind of trend, slow down trend is more rapid. Transformation and cultural, you have more reduction in poverty. In less transformation and cultural, you have less reduction in rural poverty. But this figure, I put this figure to the table. This table is exact same as the figure. You see, the country with no agricultural formation, Pakistan, Philippines, they have no poverty reduction. And some countries have moderate agricultural formation. They have like Cambodia, Laos, India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and have moderate for poverty reduction. And China, Vietnam have faster agricultural formation. We also have, they have a fast poverty reduction. That's so far we talk about a relationship between rural agricultural transformation and poverty reduction. But indeed, transformation in agriculture is not occur independent with structural transformation. So I also put update Peter Timmer earlier figure on how structural transformation relate to occur in Asian country. So these figures are complicated, but the first part on left side is those all these countries share agricultural GDP. This one top one share of agricultural employment in 1980s. And right side is this share of agricultural GDP, agricultural employment in more recent years. But so there are 2 messages across the country using the transformation, conversion. When the conversion agricultural GDP share almost equal to agricultural employment share, but within the country, it's also occurring this trend. But the question is, what are implications to inclusion rural development? So I also calculate horizon line is percentage per year how much agricultural economic transformation. What is how much poverty reduction? Again, we get similar trend as cultural transformation, and that which faster economic transformation. We also see the fast rural poverty reduction in Asian countries, and merging this cultural transformation together with rural transformation, and together you will also can find interesting in evidence here. We see the faster cultural transformation or rural transformation, also faster rural transformation. The only two countries in my study, the only two countries, and we see they are faster rural poverty reduction. But even if they are faster transformation, without faster rural transformation, they have some countries also can get faster poverty reduction. That means, according to many other things, we need to look at that. Similarly, if you use slow rural transformation, slow transformation, you already get slow poverty reduction. And there's this empathy in these two cells. So let me come to the last two major messages I want to deliver. First, we see use China as a case to see China agriculture in past 35 years. We're moving from one stable full economy to the last stage, more integrated urban rural development, also more sustainable agricultural development, which take 35 years. And then we see the OECD country normally take 100 years to move to this fourth stage today. And more important is in each stage of this development, there are different policies behind it. I will come the last page on it. Again, we so far we only look at the country level, compare China with other Asian country transformation. But indeed, China agricultural and rural economies are very different across space, across region. Red one is so the coastal area are very rich area, but inland and the western area are quite poor area. And if you look at it, I think this is also quite similar in other Asian countries. If you look at poverty reduction by province, in first poverty line, this in second, third poverty line. Although every province rural poverty rate have been declining, but the rate of decline also quite different. So, but this in the study I want to test on this pass out rural poverty reduction relate with agricultural transformation, relate with local structural transformation. My hypothesis is yes, but we need still more empirical study on that. So let me conclude my presentation. And again, some have quantitative evidence, some still need research in the future. And I believe forced rural transformation could improve food security, increase farmer income, reduce rural poverty, and facilitate sustainable rural development. And we see the regional difference on food security, farmer income, poverty, and others. They may probably largely explained by the pathway and split out regional and rural transformation. I have presented this table to you several times, and the major point that I want to emphasize is appropriate institutions, policy investment, I call IPIS matter. And more important, the sequence of this IPIS is critical to speak up and then inclusive rural sustainable agricultural development. China also started mechanization movement in 1970s, 1980s. We failed. We didn't able to mechanize because the wage at that time was quite low. China also to do land consolidation quite a long time ago, but failed again. So the point here, in each stage, there's special policies. In each country, each region, you have to identify which stage transformation you are now. And then looking for what are major policy institutional investment required for helping you to moving from this stage to next stage. And it's not all policies, but only few policies matter in each stage of this development. Okay, I will end here. Thank you very much.